To tell you the truth, in terms of dating and relationships, I've never seen anything in an older woman that I wanted or liked. I know that some of you who are watching this video can't get enough of them. But I just can't understand why a man would want a woman in her late 30s, 40s, or 50s when he could have a young one in her prime instead. I know that some of you who are watching this video can't get enough of them. What else do they have to offer, besides the fact that their experience makes them great? These kinds of women are on the verge of looking old in a few years, so I can't understand why they're so popular. Additionally, older women are not the best candidates for fatherhood. You'll likely have to take the path, which can cost a lot just to have a child. Do you understand where I stand on that side of the debate then? I can see that you might have wanted someone just for fun. They will be fantastic, and even better if they are unable to conceive. Watch that. I comprehend. However, I am puzzled as to why men would wipe up these women who are past their decline and have young children here. That makes sense if you're 60 and dating a 35-year-old woman. It makes sense to me that a man in his 50s is dating a woman who is 30 years old. However, men in their 20s and 30s are dating women in their late 30s to mid-50s, and I find myself wondering, what is wrong with these guys? Then, to make matters worse, society makes you feel bad about not dating these women. So I want to know where our society is going, but it's not good. But before I get into the people who blame men for not dating, let me say that I have never been in a relationship with an older woman because I prefer younger women. Therefore, I'm going to tell you the truth. And I'll be the first to admit that I've never been in a relationship or slept with one. However, I do have the experience of sharing a home with elderly women. And believe me, I would never, ever want to wake up every day as an older person. First of all, most of them are unpleasant to be around and have a cynical outlook on life as a result of destroying their lives when they were younger. These are persistent complaints, have a lot of issues, rarely experience genuine happiness, are insanely miserable, and so on. To put it mildly, some of the things I've had to deal with while living with elderly women are unbelievable. If you don't believe me, just look at older married men and tell me if they don't look like lifeless husks who are just walking around without a soul. If you don't believe me, then you need to try this. Some of these men appear to be just waiting to scream and escape their wives. As a result, when I observe young and middle-aged men flocking to older women, I have to wonder if these men are interested or simply unaware of the trap they are entering. They either have a type or are desperate, in my opinion. Or they won't be able to attract younger women because they prefer committed relationships with those women. That is only my opinion and is not true. So seriously, if you date older women, please tell me why you chose that route. Let's take a look at the reasons why men today feel ashamed for not dating older women. First, society expects men to care for women. This shouldn't come as a surprise. But in society, the people around you will always want to see women treated well and in the best possible circumstances, even at the expense of men. Additionally, the government is aware that women require assistance, and the student loan bailout is a perfect illustration of the fact that women cannot survive on their own, regardless of how strong they used to act. Because someone has to help take care of these women, society doesn't shame or punish them. If they don't, they'll end up on the streets or even more dependent on the system, which is why older women who still look beautiful are promoted so heavily. Furthermore, 45 is now 25. Because doing so would deplete Social Security and other assistance programs, the government does not wish to take care of these people. No. Then, because there are more women than men in the United States, they will stick together and try to get men to help older women who are single and need a man to support them. What do they do then? Shame men for wanting to date younger women in their late teens and early 20s and call me a lot of different things to try to keep that man from dating younger women. But notice that when an older woman dates a younger man, everyone around her praises and encourages her to do so because everyone knows that unless the woman is wealthy, she will need money later in life. After all, the majority of women struggle with money. Simply put, you need to comprehend that women's access to support is at the heart of everything. In the end, we can all agree with the student loan bailout that there has never been a strong, independent woman. It is the way things are, and every woman needs men or someone to help her get by and support herself. Second, modern science has extended the number of times women can remain compatible partners. We all know that if a woman looks old, it doesn't matter if she dates or is in a long-term relationship. Since we already assume that elderly women will be single, nobody will be bothered by her being single. Typically, their husbands pass away before them. Also, it makes sense why the man would want to leave life early if you think about it. However, as Coach Greg Adams would put it, miracles of modern science can make a woman look pretty good for herself. Therefore, women who can maintain their youthful appearance with makeup, Botox, hair dye, and implants will subconsciously desire to have a partner. We're wired that way because we want to see people who look young enough to be with someone else. If you don't believe me, just look at how frequently people ask young adults if they're dating. Someone who is young and of legal age is not expected to be single. People will always want men to swoon over older women as long as they can still look young. They'll make fun of you for being an older man if you go against the grain and want to be like these women. Always keep in mind that finding a partner is a race between men and women. Therefore, when women are competing for the best man possible, they will employ any necessary strategies. Therefore, they will date them rather than younger women if doing so involves shame. They'll do it if it means taking that man away from the young woman. How many instances of mothers taking their daughters' boyfriends are there? Do you see what I'm getting at? Therefore, men will never stop being shamed into dating these women as long as women can still compete with younger women and appear somewhat youthful. Keep in mind that older men are the ones with society's wealth and resources. Who will take care of the older women financially if all the wealthy old men go out and date young women? It all comes down to money and the availability of partners. If young men only wanted to date young women, who would be left to pick up all the divorced women who are still out there, or all the strong, independent women who never put relationships first and are single and struggling? When you stop and think about it, the more well-known men date older women, the fewer men will be available for them. And since there aren't enough men for every woman in America, they have to find a way to stop their few men from going into a market full of younger women and being called tricksters. You'll hear them say that she's young enough to be your daughter because of this. You are wrong to want that young woman who is 22 years old. And if you don't have anything in common with younger women, why would you want to date them? She'll only use you for money, which is the most effective form of shame, as if that weren't what all women, even older women, do. Therefore, I want you to comprehend why you will be told these things by those around you. It's just to make sure you don't start dating young women and that you take care of these leftovers. Last but not least, men are shameful for not dating leftover women because they don't want men to see that these women are no longer valuable. We are all aware that leftover women are not valuable as arm candy or a long-term partner. The majority of these women lack anything to offer, and men would never choose those kinds of women if they knew they were getting ripped off. However, someone will inevitably seize these women if society propagates the idea that they are still valuable. Men who choose leftover women get the worst of them because other men got them when they were at their best, and you get her when she is at her worst. What makes that a win? When she was at her best, other men took her. When you get the version of her that needs makeup and Botox to look good, is it a success? You're getting this woman after she raised her monthly maintenance costs when other men bought her for much less when she was younger and had more worth. Do you get my point? Additionally, depending on their age or whether they live with their mother, some already have children from other men with whom you will probably need to assist. The majority of men would not date older women if they could objectively assess their true worth and recognize that they are receiving a poor deal. Shame is therefore frequently used to control men and prevent them from thinking clearly. I want you to understand that women can't control a man who doesn't care about shame and does whatever he wants. The shame trap that is set up to prevent men from dating older women is only for men who care about what women in society think of them. Shame tactics will keep those men on the plantation of dating leftover women and getting a raw deal until men stop caring. However, it's what it is. I just want you guys to understand why they are shaming you so severely and the consequences of allowing them to control you. Therefore, you have the option.